Okay, so we had been talking about evolution. Okay, so as I said, the main reason behind evolution is adaptation. Okay, now before we come to the aspect of evolution, okay, if you look around you in the environment, in your surroundings, don't you think there is too much diversity of different species? Plants, animals, insects, microbes, birds, etc. Lot of diversity, correct? So many different beautiful species of birds, so many different types of insects, even in case of plants, right? Just till a few days back, we had the mango season. So many different varieties of mango. All of you must have eaten nicely, right? You're aware about the different types of bananas, the small one, the medium one, the large one. देखा है सबने? So this is nothing but
Yes.
diversity, correct? So the question that should come to the mind is, so many different life forms. How did they start? How did this life on the earth begin? Any probable answer you can give? How did this life on the earth start? From where we human beings came? So many beautiful species of creatures are found on the earth at every place, right from the Arctic to the Antarctic. How did this all start? Before we understand evolution, we should be understanding the origin of the life. Anything which you must have heard or thought or read somewhere. कैसे start हुआ ये life? Yes. Some of you must have heard some religious theories also. God came, God created the life. सुना है कभी? There are stories in all different religious scriptures. We are not talking about any specific religion, but every religion has got its own story. In science, can you accept if you say that God came and created this life? I'm just using the word God. I'm not mentioning any particular God, because this belief and all is a totally different question. We cannot question anybody's belief. But here I'm speaking from science point of view. Can you accept that? Yes, Sundar, you have something to say.
No, sir.
So you don't believe science or you don't believe religion?
Religion.
Okay. So why do you not believe religion? And why do you think that science is correct? It's all individual opinion. Others can also answer. Whatever you have to say about this. Bolo. Dipali, what can you say on this?
Because we
Bolo, bolo.
don't because we don't have any proof in religion.
We don't have any proofs in religion. Okay. Any other point anybody would like to add on this? There's one point which Sundar told which is completely correct. As far as any such point is considered, the main criteria is evidence. He said proof, that is evidence. Whenever you're studying about things in science, science will never accept anything without a proper evidence. We just cannot tell things anything on air. कि हाँ ऐसा हुआ है करके. You have to prove it. And everything, whatever theories which you learn in science, it is all based on proof. Getting it? Mendel explained about monohybrid cross, dihybrid cross. He had given a proof. He carried out experiments and showed the results. Watson and Crick put forward the structure of DNA. They gave the proof. Getting it? So everything in science is dependent upon evidence. Otherwise, it is not a theory at all. But unlikely to this, religion does not focus on that. Okay, religion cannot give proof. So that's why it's just a question of everybody's belief. So here, when we are studying about the topic of evolution, okay, we have to first think and observe the huge diversity of life around us. See this, the different life forms. When you say the word monkey, a picture comes to your mind, correct? But it's not just one type of monkey that we know. There are so many different types of monkeys, so many different types of snakes: cobra, python, vine snake, rat snake, right? Anaconda, spitting cobra. कितने सारे, but they are all very similar. Just say the word bird, so many pictures come to your mind. The smallest one like the hummingbird, the largest one like a Siberian crane or an eagle. But they are birds, right? Even in the case of plants, so much of diversity. This is under the microscopic world. So many microorganisms of all different shapes, size, architecture, color, texture, everything. But that's the diversity, right? See this beautiful collection of butterflies and insects. Yes or no? You must have seen so many butterflies around you. If you go to a garden or somewhere, it comes and sits on the flowers, right? You see their wings as if somebody has been sitting and drawing and painting and then releasing them. There is some artist which we don't know, right? See the different architecture of birds also. See the architecture and the coloration of the flowers. Such diversity. Correct? If not the scientific part, at least we should be aware about the aesthetic part of it. This is something human beings have not created. It is done by the nature. So who designed it? Right? Especially see my cursor. See this particular insect, beetle. See the color. Nice shining purple, dark black. किसने किया उनको color? Right? See the greenery in the nature. If you go to any hill station or somewhere, see the plants. Right? Dark green, light green, different shapes, different canopies, the different types of leaves, different types of flowers. This is all created by the nature. See this beautiful collection of flowers. Fragrance कितना अलग अलग है, shape कितना अलग है. So this diversity, it is a huge story if you go behind and see how this life started. Right? So we need to be aware about a little bit of the geography also. In this entire universe, as of now, do you agree with the fact that it is only the earth where this life exists? You feel
Yes.
that this?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. There is a lot of research going on by the astronauts and all who are going to other areas in the space and trying to see whether we have life or not. Aliens वगैरह के अलग-अलग बहुत stories है, right? But we don't have a proof as such. But if you think technically, it is only the earth where this life will exist. There are various reasons for it. All of you are aware about our solar system. We have the sun, the largest star, and surrounding the sun, we have all the planets. बचपन से पढ़ते आ रहे, right? Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Saturn, Jupiter, Uranus, Neptune वगैरह. So the distance of the Earth from the sun is so favorable that almost in every part of the Earth, the temperature can go maximum up to 60 to 70 degree, maximum I'm telling. Or on the minimum side, up to minus 40 to minus 50. So where some places are there on the earth where the temperatures are very extreme and life may not be possible. But if you see the majority of our earth, the conditions are very favorable. The temperature is in the average range of 30 to 40 to 50 degree and very supportive for life. Can you expect this kind of a temperature in Mercury? Not possible, right? Because of the distance from the sun. So you are aware about the rotation and the revolution of the earth. The earth rotates, day and night is constant. the earth revolves, seasons are produced. Okay, so this change is so favorable that winter to summer to monsoon becomes very favorable for this kind of life to arise. Okay, temperature, and second most reason for this life to exist is that there is lot of water present on the earth. Okay, we know very well that the earth is called as a blue planet because the water that we have is found only on the earth. And in chemistry, you must have studied that water is the only substance which can exist in all three states of matter: solid, liquid, and a gas. It is colorless, it is odorless, it is tasteless, nothing at all. But that is such a key compound because of which this life is existing on the earth. Can you imagine life without water? Possible? Eh? Of course not. There are creatures living in the water, and water is found inside every creature. Imagine yourself not drinking water for the whole day. How do you feel? You understand it, right? Every organism feels thirsty. That means it requires water because each and every living cell consists of cytoplasm, which is 90% water. So Earth is the only planet where this important key compound is found. Earth is the only planet where such a favorable combination of temperature, humidity, and these climatic conditions are found. That's why we have this life on the Earth. So if you go back to the story of evolution, in this origin of life, there is something called as a Big Bang theory, which happened billions of years back. Okay, it's not completely confirmed as such, but which is the most widely accepted. उसमें क्या बोला गया है कि at one point of time the universe was just a small point. The universe entering. Now the universe is too vast, but it was just a small point, and it was having immense amount of energy. And at one point of time, it exploded with a huge bang. And then all the particles of the universe started scattering. That is what has given rise to these celestial bodies, out of which Earth is one of them. Okay, and because of the scattering, okay, the Earth, all the other planets, they attend one particular point in the entire universe. Like, why is always the Earth the third planet? Why is Mercury always the first planet? Why don't they interchange their paths? Because every object is having its own gravity, which is keeping them in that place. So the gravity is also equally important. Otherwise, the Earth will immediately go near the sun or maybe away from the sun. Life will be damaged. So first of all, the Earth was formed. Then there was a time when the Earth cooled down, because when the Earth was formed, it was an extremely hot ball of gases. It was an immense hot ball of gases. Okay, and when the Earth cooled down, that time there was a time, okay, so millions of years back, celestial bodies were one single mass like this, and there was an explosion. Okay, so what happened was that the origin of the Earth, it took place around 3.5 billion years ago. Okay, counting from now, if you see, approximately 3.5 billion years ago, the Earth was formed. So the story begins from there. Okay, and the Earth initially was like a huge ball of hot gases, which could not sustain anything. सिर्फ गरम एक गोला था बस. So the first requirement for this to begin was that the Earth should cool down. And for that, it took another, say, millions of years. Okay, by this process of rotation and all, slowly cooled down. And then what happened? See this. There is something called chemical evolution of life. Okay, this is a representation which shows you Like nobody was obviously present that time to take photographs or selfies and all, right? So it is a representation. If at all we are able to go back to that time of the earth and see how it looked like, it would be somewhat like this. Okay, the early earth conditions were more of ammonia, water vapor. Okay, it is written as water vapor, not liquid water, only gaseous form, because water could not cool down in such a high temperature. Okay, hydrogen gas, methane gas. So that point of time, the earth was said to be in a having a reducing atmosphere, because there was more of hydrogen gas. As you can see here, there is no oxygen gas. It was very less. Okay, so for it to become a reducing to an oxidizing condition, it took another millions of years. The temperatures were very high. There were a lot of volcanic eruptions. Okay, lightning strikes, electric storms as a conditions in that time of the earth. So under these conditions, slight chemical reactions began. Okay, so hydrogen reacted with oxygen, water molecule was formed. Nitrogen reacted with hydrogen, ammonia was formed. Carbon reacted with hydrogen, methane was produced. So like that, random chemical reactions began to give rise to small molecules. And then water molecule was formed, immediately evaporated, again condensed, immediately evaporated, again condensed. This repeatedly kept on taking place, because of which the earth started cooling down. And at one point of time, when the water condensed, it remained as liquid water. It did not evaporate very fast as earlier. So that gave rise to, slowly, when this started, this gave rise to the water bodies that we have on the earth. Okay, so we have lakes, rivers, oceans. They're all produced from that time. So when the water bodies were formed, it became a medium or the place where the life can start. Okay, so now if you talk about any living cell, we know very well that it is having cytoplasm, a nucleus, DNA. We have seen the structure of the DNA. Okay, we know that a cell consists of a plasma membrane or a cell wall. So they are all ultimately made up of molecules. We have seen nucleotide, nitrogenous base, sugar molecule, phosphate. So they are all molecules and atoms. All these were produced from that time. And then they joined to each other to form such a structure or such a molecule that now it could function on its own. And it became a primitive cell-like structure, a living cell. Okay, and that's how the first living cells started. Okay, there were simple elements like this. See this. Okay, hydrogen, carbon, nitrogen, etc. It gave rise to simple compounds like water, carbon dioxide, ammonia, methane, etc. These compounds, they assemble to form bigger compounds. Like we have amino acids, nucleotides, sugars, etc. They also assembled further to become big molecules. Like we have proteins, nucleic acids, carbohydrates, etc. And their aggregation took place in such a way that it gave rise to primitive cell-like structures, which was called as the first living cell. And it was initially called as pre-cells, because it was not exactly a living cell, it was like a pre-cell, also called coacervates. So that was the first living cell-like structure which was formed in the water bodies. So water is the place where the life began, like this. Getting it? So it was a result. This entire biology of life is as a result of the chemistry, because of reactions. Okay, Deepali, you want to say something?
No, sir.
Okay. Okay, understood this process, everyone?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So whatever we have discussed till now is explaining you about how the living cell started for the first time. How living cell started for the first time. Okay, now once the living cell started, how it evolved further. Initially, when it was formed, this first type of a living cell, it was not called as any animal or a plant cell or something. It was just a cell. So there was diversification that began. Okay, so the formation of that first cell-like structure is known as the theory of chemical origin of life, which was explained by two people, Oparin and Haldane. These points which I have written, this entire theory was first explained by Oparin and Haldane. And the theory is known as the chemical origin of life, also called molecular evolution of life. Okay, the origin of the life is because of chemical reactions. Okay, now the next point being, there was another person called R.H. Whitaker. Okay, now what he said, see, the first primitive cell started, and at every stage the primitive cell evolved further. That means there were changes which were produced once that cell gave rise to another cell. So the very first proper living cell which was formed was something called as a prokaryotic cell. Okay, have you heard about prokaryotic and eukaryotic cell? No?
Yes.
Prokaryotic means a cell which does not have a proper well-defined nucleus around it. We call it as a primitive cell. Okay, the other one is eukaryotic, where it has a proper well-defined nucleus around it. So that's an advanced cell. So life started from a prokaryotic one. Prokaryotic cell mein all bacteria, you can take that as example. You know very well there are a lot of bacteria around. So they are prokaryotic. So evolution mein they are very early. Okay, and those prokaryotic cells evolved further. They gave rise to eukaryotic cells. Okay, so this person R.H. Whitaker has explained that by providing something called 5 kingdom system. Okay, all the organisms on the earth can be grouped into 5 different kingdoms. Okay, the first one, as you can see here, it is called kingdom Monera. This one is kingdom Monera. Kingdom Monera means all organisms are unicellular prokaryotes. Okay. Second one is kingdom Protista. Okay. Kingdom Protista means all are unicellular, but they are eukaryotes. Okay. So prokaryotes were evolved first, then they developed further and became eukaryotes. So second kingdom was Protista. Everybody is aware about amoeba. Everybody's favorite, easy to draw. Amoeba, paramecium, etc. They come under Protista. Okay, and Monera mein example आएंगे bacteria. All bacteria, they are Monera. Okay, so now from Monera till Monera and till Protista, all organisms are unicellular. That means the entire organism is made up of only one cell. Okay, so now one cell was not enough to sustain the entire body. So there was development. From unicellular, they started becoming multicellular. The body consisted of many cells. And this Protista, they started diversifying into 3 different lines. So some of them, they started becoming fungi. Okay, you know fungi, fungus. Where do you get fungus?
Bread.
Yes, spoiled food. Okay, whenever food gets spoiled, it is mainly because of fungus. Mushroom, everybody knows. Pizza के ऊपर topping वगैरह खाते होंगे, right? Mushroom, right? All they are examples of fungus. So fungi is a huge kingdom because there are too many different types of fungi. But all of them are multicellular and they are decomposers. Very few like yeast and all, they are unicellular. Okay, but they are decomposers. They can grow on all rotten and decaying material. That is fungi. Similarly, there is one kingdom called plants. I don't need to ask you what are plants. Whenever you say plant, it means all of them are green in color. They cannot move from their place. They carry out photosynthesis and they are autotrophs. That means they can prepare their own food. Then they are called plants. So they are multicellular producers. Okay, and then there is another group called animals. So you know what are animals? Again, they are all unicellular, multicellular, but they are consumers. They catch other things and eat, whether it is plants, whether it is other animals, but they can eat. Okay, so that means when the life started, it was from Monera. Monera evolved further over thousands and millions of years, gave rise to Protista. Protista evolved further in 3 different lines. Some of them became fungi, some of them became plants, some of them became animals. That is the entire 5 kingdom system, and as a result of which you have this entire diversity on the earth right now. Approximately today, as per the estimates, in this entire earth, it is said that there are approximately 8.7 million species on the earth. 8.7 million, including all bacteria, all microorganisms, all plants, fungi, animals, everything. We are aware about approximately 8.7 million species. Getting it? There are just 20,000 species of only ants on the earth. So at every stage, the diversification took place. That's how we have this diversity on the earth. Everybody understood the 5 kingdom system? Yes?
Yes,
So everybody in a chorus, you will tell. First, name of the first kingdom is?
Monera.
Monera.
Yes, very good. Name of the second kingdom?
Protista.
Protista. Correct. Third one?
Fungi. Fungi.
How do you
Fungi.
pronounce it? Fungi. How do you pronounce it?
Fungi.
Fungi.
Okay. Some of them are calling fungi. Some of them are telling fungi. Fungi is a better one. Okay. Sometimes people say fungi and all. It is fungi. Okay. Fourth one?
Plants.
Plants. And fifth one?
Animals.
Animals.
Okay. Okay. Good. Okay. See, I have highlighted. Okay. Now, based on this classification chart that you can see, okay, after understanding the 5 kingdom system, we can see that every organism on the earth has got one common ancestor. Ancestor means somebody from where we began. So now you agree with this fact after getting an idea of the broader picture, that at one point of time, we are not sure exactly when and all, but at one point of time, there was some primitive cell from which all this began. And that's our ancestor. We don't have a proper name to it or something. right? Tell me, we human beings belong to which of these 5 kingdoms?
Animals.
Okay, so all of you agree that we are animals, correct? Of course, yes, we are animals. We cannot be plants, we cannot be fungi, we are not bacteria, we are not amoeba, right? So the only option left with us is we are animals, right? So we are one of them. Now, if you compare, see, we animals, as you can see in this chart, have arisen from what? Protista. And Protista has arisen from Monera. So somewhere or the other down the line, one of our ancestors was a probacteria. Getting it? Our parents may not understand this, but one of our ancestors is a probacteria. Correct? Similar, you take any plant, it has got an ancestry somewhere down the line, a probacteria or a prokaryote. So any random organism from the chart you take, it has got the same common ancestor. No organism or no species was downloaded from somewhere. It has only evolved. Yes or no? And then adapted further. Correct? So every 2 organism, you take randomly any 2 organism. Okay, say a fish and a mushroom. It has got some similarities between them. Both are made up of cells. Both of them need nutrition. Both of them require oxygen. Both of them perform excretion. Both will reproduce. They are common points. But this is a fish and that's a mushroom. Similarly, you can compare human beings with a mango tree also. There are similarities. Correct? So any 2 random organisms on the earth, if you take, you can do a comparison. They are not independent. There can be more similarities and less dissimilarities, or vice versa. But yes, they are related. That's how you have to understand this broader picture of evolution. Clear till now, everyone? Yes, this is a very important, interesting aspect you should remember. So the all species on the earth, they have a common ancestor. That's an underlining important point. Okay, so now we have to discuss about something called evidences of evolution. Okay, so this is a big topic now. Okay, so we will start at a stretch in the next lecture itself. Okay, something called evidences of evolution. Now what exactly it tells is that, see, we are talking so many things that all organisms have a common ancestor and all. What is the proof? As we said in the beginning, science always depends upon evidence or a proof. So the different proof we will be seeing, okay, by which we can tell that these are the evidences based on which we are telling that the evolutionary process has taken place this way. So there are evidences based on morphology, anatomy, fossils, that is paleontology. Okay, very, very interesting examples which all of us must have seen around us. Okay, so that gives rise to the evidences of evolution. Then we have to discuss a very interesting theory called the Darwin's theory of evolution. All of you must have heard about Charles Darwin, a very famous person. तो उसका theory देखना है. Why did he come out with that theory? Who was he? How did he observe things around himself? Okay, and based on examples, we'll be learning that also. Actually, 2-3 theories, and then the last part of this lesson is about the evolution of the most dangerous creature on the earth, that is evolution of
Human beings.
very good. Sundar agrees with the fact that we are most dangerous people on the earth. Right? So how human beings have evolved. Right? As a layman, we are aware about only one point. Okay, इंसान पहले बंदर था, यही बोलते हैं ना बार बार. So now we will actually unravel the correct picture, whether ये बंदर ही था कि कुछ और था. ठीक है? So we will learn that in detail. Okay, so we'll meet next time and we'll continue from here. So that will be interesting. Anything anybody has to ask? Yes. So probably by tomorrow, I will be posting a Google Classroom, Google Form test with respect to heredity. Today we have discussed some questions in the beginning. So there will be questions of that type. multiple choice. All of you have to just click on the link, open the question paper, and attempt all the questions by clicking on the correct option. At the end of the test, there will be an option called submit. Click on submit, your test will be submitted. Immediately you will come to know how much score you have got. Have you attempted Google Form test before this? Any other Google Form? You must have done, I think.
Yes.
Yes.
So the same way I'll be posting it. It will be there in the Google Classroom. Make sure everybody